Hi everyone, welcome to the chat session to learn more about being a sports scientist at NYSI. Today with us we have Schvelle. So before we begin, Schvelle, could you just briefly introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, my name is Schvelle. I'm 24 this year. I work at the Talent Identification and Development Department in NYSI. I studied in sports science and management back when I was in NTU. And interesting fact is that I played netball since I was in primary 3. So that's about like 15 years, I think, from
Wow, okay.
9 to 24.
Okay, that's
You do your
actually
math.
yeah, that's actually quite long.
Yeah.
So when do you join NYSI?
I actually joined full-time last year in October. But before that, I did my internship during my course back in NTU. That was like just before I got the full-time job. So last year in January to May around there. Yeah,
Oh,
that was
okay.
my intern. Yeah.
So what do you do at NYSI?
Right now I am doing talent identification and development. Yeah, it's quite interesting because I didn't know that this job existed before like I joined NYSI, or even during my whole course of studying in sports science and management. I didn't really know that there was such thing as like, oh, we identify talent or we identify like potential talent. Yeah, so I never actually imagined myself working in this department prior to when I actually started working here. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so maybe can you share more about how do you actually identify talents?
Okay, so essentially what we are trying to do now is to make identifying talent more like holistic in a sense. Yeah, so I think back then in the past, we used to rely very much on coach's eye. So for example, like I'm a coach and I'm coaching netball and I just see like, okay, in this group of people, who is the person who is tall, who is the person who can run the fastest, who is the person who can jump the highest. And I was, oh, that's probably the ideal like netballer that we want to have. Yeah, so I think we are trying to move away from that coach's eye and look into more objective ways of measuring or predicting performance. And that includes like fitness tests such as like the usual that you guys are probably familiar with, like the sprint test, the yo-yo test, the vertical jump test, 505 agility. But besides that, we also look at the psychological aspects of the player or the student, and also we look at the technical attributes when they come in for selections. Yeah. So and we also look at maturation. So we are not leaving behind the late maturers, but we are also including them in the equation. Yeah, so I think that is something that we feel might be more holistic in instead of just seeing with my eye and like, okay, this looks like a good player, then I choose you. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite interesting actually. So
Yeah.
why not tell me what actually made you choose NYSI?
Mm, Actually, like to be real honest, I didn't really know that we actually had such stuff or like such support going on for our like elite athletes or just the elite athletes in the high performance system. Before that, I was just in my own bubble of like, NTU SSM. The potential like career paths are like maybe you want to do further studies in like the therapies, or you want to do like maybe PE teaching or gym training or like more management work. So actually, when I had to choose my internship company at first. So when I was scrolling through the internship list and I was like thinking, oh, there's this place called the National Youth of Sport Institute. And then I think that was what like piqued my interest because I was like, oh, okay, that is like directly related to sports science, and sports science was an area of interest for me. Yeah, so I actually joined in the physiology department during my internship first. And I think that kind of opened my eyes to like, whoa, like the whole like elite or high performance in Singapore, and which I didn't know existed in the past.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think like my bubble was burst at the internship, and I realized that like it's something that I really had interest in, and it was something that I really enjoyed. Yeah, so I think that was when I decided to like, okay, maybe I can try applying for full-time position in NYSI. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So when you apply, right, you definitely will need to choose like which department you want to go to. So
Yeah.
what made you realize this is the department for you?
Uh, I mean, honestly, I didn't think that like, oh, this is the department with like my name on it, and if I have to choose this. But I think at the point of time, I just felt like, because I was still pretty fresh into this a whole like job and all that, so I thought that it would be a good chance for me to be exposed to like different departments, and be exposed to like other areas in the sports science field that I may potentially be interested in. Yeah, so when I saw this like PID role, I was actually quite intrigued because I'm not sure why, but I think it was just not going in, not knowing much, and giving myself space to like grow, and giving myself space to be able to learn on the job, I guess. Yeah, because we didn't learn like anything about TID or talent identification back in my course. Like there was no course, or like there was no like module called like talent identification or even talent development. Yeah, so I think when I actually applied for it, right, I felt that I was taking a step of like faith in that sense, because I didn't know what I was applying to, and I didn't know what to expect from the job. Yeah, but I think with talking to some of my seniors who used to work in this department, and just like having that conversation of, hey, actually, what can I expect, or what can I like look for, and what are like some of the challenges that they were facing during the job. I think that gave me like the courage, I guess, like, okay, I just try lah, because I cannot lose anything if I don't try in that sense. Yeah, so I just, okay, let's try and see how it goes. And I think I'm kind of glad that I chose this department, because I think that it's kind of challenged me to really think out the box, and really just that push to keep on like learning and keep on uh, like having new information coming in, so that I can better like adapt to the situations, and better get my work done in in proper ways lah. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So why don't you share more about how was your path like your journey to get to where you are today?
Mm, okay, I think for me, the biggest part that relates to like sport science is during my course in NTU. So NTU has a sport science and management course for 4 years. So I think when I was deciding whether I wanted to pursue that, like the first question that I asked myself back when I was applying for uni was, okay, so what do I see myself doing in the future? Or like what is something that I would be interested in? And at that point of time, like, I was still quite lost. So it's like, oh my god, nothing seems to be of interest. And like nothing seems to be like, oh, like very passionate about like, oh, I have to come here, or I want to come here. Yeah, but I think at that point of time, I was quite interested in physiotherapy. Yeah. So I heard that we could use sports science, the degree that we got in SSM, to kind of push us or help us to get like maybe like further studies in physio. So that was my prepared plan now when I entered SSM. As okay, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to pursue physiotherapy, and then I'm going to become a physiotherapist, right? Yeah, so that was my plan. But I think midway through, I kind of realized that like maybe I should, or I could try other stuff also. And that was when actually it was all these kind of came towards like the internship when I realized that like there's so much more to sports science than I thought there was. So my bubble was burst again, right, in the internship. Yeah, and I think that was when I realized that like, okay lah, um it kind of suited what I saw myself doing, in the sense of like, the first thing was like, oh, I had a secret desire, a secret hope to like wear sports attire to like work. And then like I always thought like that was a dream that's not possible. Of course, like who wears sports clothes to work, right? Unless you're a gym trainer or PE teacher. Yeah, then I think I also didn't see myself like working at a desk bound job, like in like banks or in the advertising agents. Like I think my degree didn't really like relate to that, and I just felt like I didn't want to work in that kind of office environment. Yeah, so that's why I chose sports science also, because I knew that like it would be something more like proactive and something more hands-on, which I felt kind of suited me best. Yeah, so in terms of like interest wise, like whether or not I actually thought that I would become a sports scientist in the end of like my course, like it's a complete no, because I really never thought I'll become a sports scientist. But I think it was throughout the whole path and throughout the whole journey where I just learned to like kind of discover opportunities and learn more about myself, and kind of realize that like actually like we don't have to always have one specific goal in mind. Yeah, but we are also able to just let opportunities come in and learn and grow from there. Yeah, so I think I ultimately decided to like, okay, settle in with like sports science and with the job that I'm having now. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So during this journey, right, do you have like any interesting or funny stories to share?
Oh, uh, interesting stories. I don't think my stories are very interesting there, because I think I'm still pretty like new. So I'm like kind of like 8 months in. I don't really have any interesting stories. But
Or like something meaningful that you encountered?
something meaningful. Um, it's a very good question. I feel that like it's not something that like happened in like one moment, but I think it's like there's a whole collection of like conversations that I've had with like my supervisors, conversations that I've had with my like colleagues and my friends, that kind of, I think it's just all the bubble bursting, which I felt like was like needful for me, because it's very easy for us to be cooped up in our own like bubble and not aware of like what's happening around us. But I think it was quite like nice to know that like I was kind of getting more aware of things around me. Yeah, instead of like being in my own bubble of like my world and what concerns me the most. Yeah, but I think it's through like conversations and through like just hanging out with like my colleagues and having some fun with them, that really kind of made things fun and make the whole journey like something that I look forward to. Lor. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have any words of advice for like our budding sports scientists?
Mm, I think it would be to really uh like cherish the journey, yeah, that you take. And right now, like you are on that journey, going into like whatever like career path, be it like sports science or sports management and all that. I think like the journey is where um it's where like you get the opportunities that come, that I feel that we are in at that age group or at that season of life, you are at the best time to really have those opportunities to discover more about yourself, to learn more about yourself, about your interests and your passions and your desires. So I think like it will change. Yeah, like for mine it changed, but from physiotherapy to like sports science, and it was something that I wasn't expecting. But I think it was like just being able to like go with the flow and adapt. No, yeah. If the opportunity for physio like isn't here now, doesn't mean that it will never be here. But doesn't mean that I also have to be so hung up on getting that and not opening up myself to any other things that come my way. Yeah. So I guess like we are still young, right? And we are able to just have that season or that time to just explore more lor, in the industry, and explore more in what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy doing. Yeah. So and just follow that lah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the final question, right?
Mm.
If you were to recruit someone to join your particular department, how would
Mhm.
you do it?
How will I do it? I think I will make it like known that like we don't need to know everything about TID, because I didn't know anything about TID and I still managed to get the job. But I think it's just a matter of uh like um, just that ability to be willing to learn, yeah, be willing to grow, and to just be open to new ideas and suggestions. And I guess it's just more of like creative thinking, because I think like right now we we are like squeezing our brains to kind of find ways to overcome like the barriers that we are actually facing. And some of it can get pretty like, it's not conventional, like you think it will work, but actually you need something like out of the box lah. Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of like being willing to be challenged and being willing to learn. I think that's the two important things. I mean, even if it's not my department, but I think in any workplace, right, it's like you may not have the knowledge, you may not have the skill set, but if you're willing to learn, you're willing to grow, and you have like supervisors who are willing to like teach and like mentor you, then I think that's all you need in that sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Chevelle. So we've come to
Okay,
the end of this chat session. Thanks. See you all.
okay, bye bye.
Bye.